Quincy Avery. He was on talking about Deshaun Watson. Quincy Avery is his quarterback coach. And Quincy was talking about Deshaun Watson and why this year could be a very good year. And don't worry about his health, because I'm going to tell you what, he says he's better than ever.
I think that this has been his best offseason in a really long time in terms of preparation for the game, being able to throw, put himself in position where he was able to do all the things throwing-wise that he needs to do to be successful in an NFL game, and he's in a good spot. I mean, we've tested, so it's not, hey, is it as good, right? He throws the ball as hard with more velocity. Like, his miles per hour are higher now than they were prior to the injury. So those things are not like a concern.
And that was courtesy of Maggie and Perloff. Make sure you go check out their podcast. That was Quincy Avery on there talking about the rehabilitation process of Deshaun Watson. I thought it was interesting that he said he's throwing the ball just as hard. His velocity is up, and that this is the best he's looked in his career in terms of the offseason preparation. And I think one thing that we looked at, and there was a lot of misinformation, and let me get into this too. See, it's a lot of times, I don't want to say this to a lot of people, because it comes off as you're just trying to say, I don't want to make it seem like I know football and nobody else don't know nothing, or you don't know what you're talking about. I don't never want to come across that. I'm a person that I to this day, I go watch other people's podcasts. I go watch film. I'll go reach out to people and say, hey, what do you see in this? And what about this and that and this and that, right? Because you can always be, the game is always evolving. You could always learn something different about the game from a lot of different sources. But the problem I be having sometimes is when people go out to practice or they see practice and they say Deshaun Watson looks like he doesn't have any arm strength because he's throwing short routes. Well, listen, if they're coming out and they're working on underneath routes or crossing patterns or working on receivers sitting down in the zone and then throttling down and being able to sit in the zone and not run into guys that are in zone coverage, those are going to be short routes. Sometimes you go to practice and all you work on is short routes. So when you get out there and you say Deshaun Watson's arm is hurt, his arm strength doesn't look. First and foremost, why would you? Do you know what was called? Were you in the meeting room when they called and they had a discussion about what they were focusing on that day? Two, when you see a missed throw, do you know if that throw was due to inaccuracy? Do you know that throw was due to whether or not Deshaun Watson saw the wrong coverage or whether the receiver saw the wrong coverage? And if you two guys see opposite coverages, one guy's going to turn one way and the ball's going to go another way. Do you know? And who do you know? Do you know which one of those saw it properly? Oh, you don't. Okay. Do you know what the play was in the huddle? No, not really. I just saw him throwing the football. There's a lot of times that when we're doing this is why I put a very high emphasis on this. And if you're not doing this, shame on you. We are in the media. We are a conduit to the fans out there. And if you're not breaking these games down, if you're not watching the all 22s, if you're not getting the game film and you searching through it and you not looking through it and deep diving and reaching out to sources like coaches and reaching out to different people that break the film down to have you sit down with them and see what they saw to compare those, then you're doing yourself and your audience a disservice. It's way too many times people are just going to the games, watching the game one time like you saw on the TV and showing up and writing articles. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. And if you take offense to this because maybe you may not be watching the game 4 or 5 times or 3 times or watching all 22, well, you should, because that's part of your craft. What is the difference between me and somebody in the Muni lot if I'm not taking no opportunity to watch no film work? I got the same TV they got at my house. What's the difference between me and the dude on his couch? It's just opinion at that point. And this is an opinion sport, but you also have to do your due diligence and making sure that you are buttoned up when you're talking about certain things. And a lot of times people be talking about stuff and they really ain't put that time and work into it. You can say, hey, I always question people. If you say that person ain't no good, I need you to tell me 6, 7 things why, and then base it on what you saw. But if you just waking up, rolling out of bed and being like, yeah, I'm gonna just say it because it sound good. Nah, bro. No, that's not what we need to be getting into. And a lot of times when it comes to quarterback play, it's easy to talk in hyperbole. Either you're good or you're bad. Either you're elite or you're not. Are you a top 5 QB or you're not? What does your fantasy numbers look like? There's gray area to that. What is your short to medium accuracy talking about when you got to look off coverage? What is your processing speed when you go from 1 to 2, right? Are you putting your team in good plays when you do audible? Are you running away from a blitz or are you running into something? There's lots of different reasons to say what we say. I just want to put an emphasis that I think the media need to do a better job of saying, listen, yeah, I got a microphone. Yeah, I can ask these questions. Yeah, I can write articles. But are you showing yourself and proving yourself to be somebody that's worthy of that opinion? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Didn't mean to get on no tangent. 387 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you continue to hit that like button. I appreciate the super chat. Will a trade deadline impact it? Will a trade deadline impact this season? Of course it will. I think in the trade deadline, you're going to see a lot more trades this year. And I think you'll continue to see more trades as the games get longer and longer. They'll go to 18 games. And I think they should make it easier for teams to make trades that have a trade deadline become even bigger. You should push it back to, I would have it later in the season. I think right now they moved it back a little bit, but I would move it back even further because given what you see, especially with the teams, you want the most teams as whole as possible, as late in the season as possible, because it gives everybody an opportunity. It's just better for the viewing. Think about it with the Browns. The Browns' best part of their season was when everybody was hurt and they had Joe Flacco. We would have never had that type of that type of season and that type of feeling if the Browns were done and they waved the white flag. And so I think that will impact specifically the season, and I will push it back even further. Let's keep it moving. What we got here? Let me give. I got a couple more in here. Let's see. Let me get one more in here. Only one Zay says definitely wonder where Earl been. Earl on vacation. He good. I just saw Earl today. So Earl will be back coming up here. Man, make sure you check out the Ultimate 216. He ain't going nowhere. He just on vacation. See, y'all be used to brothers having PTO. Brothers got PTO now. We just disappeared. Bye. G. Bush, where you been at? I got time, bro. I'm out there on the beach. All facts, man. Do national media people see highlights and to go right off the narrative? You're right. Let's see. When they going to expand the 53-man roster, I think they should expand it, and I think they should let them have 4 quarterbacks, but that probably not going to happen. I don't know why the NFLPA don't let them get that off, though. Don't know why they let the NFLPA get that off. Let's see. Nicholas says, will Tillman make an impact this year? I think Tillman is going to have an impact, Cedric Tillman. Here's the way I think so. I think what they should do is move Cedric Tillman around. I think they should do a situation where they're using him not only on the outside but the inside to get mismatches. I want to find him. They should move and use motion to get him on slot corners, being that big and work him like a mismatch. And it's just like in basketball. They'll switch to pick and roll, and they'll put a guy in a pick and roll so they can get a switch onto a smaller guy. I think Cedric Tillman should work in the slot more, because I think if you could catch him on smaller guys and working on those dudes, and I think he's difficult to tackle as well. We see that would happen with nowadays. To kind of give you a little bit of a picture now, because you can't hit guys as much, right? There's helmet-to-helmet contact, there's defenseless receivers and all that good stuff. Corners and safeties have gotten smaller. Corners that used to be able to, corners that were very large and huge, and safeties that were hitters, those guys have been, lack of a better term, phased out. Now you can play a cornerback that used to be a corner at safety now, because now it's about ball placement, knocking the ball down, and being able to cover speed receivers in the back end, not hitting guys. But one of the things that happens with that is you do have guys that, when you got tight ends like David Njoku, bigger receivers, tackling is poor. Now guys have to make a decision, a business decision. It's hard to tackle those guys because you got smaller corners. I think Cedric Tillman is a guy that's going to use that to his advantage, and hopefully the Browns' offense, the vertical play style, will be conducive to him getting mismatches on smaller guys. All right, let's see. Last one. Watson still will have 4,500 passing. Cliff, shout out to you. I need that 4,500. I need that 4,500. I need it. And if you've been hanging around so far, I'm going to give you out right now. Right now, if you hit me up, gbush91@hotmail.com, gbush91@hotmail.com, I'm going to give away random 5 Kool-Aid Mafia rally flags. The Mafia is back. I need you in the subject line to put Cowboys to gbush91@hotmail.com. Cowboys to gbush91@hotmail.com. You guys watch on UCSS on Friday, and I'm going to be giving out the names of the winners of the 5 Kool-Aid Mafia rally flags. Hit me up again. Cowboys in the subject line. That's what you got to do. Cowboys to the subject line, gbush91@hotmail.com, and I'm giving out 5 Kool-Aid Mafia rally flags to get ready for the Cowboys game. Make sure you check us out on UCSS at 11 o'clock. Make sure you check us out. I'll be giving the winners out. You got 2 days, fellas. 2 days to get it done.